If there's any being already present that would like to come through and communicate with us.
I'm perceiving that I am standing with a group of people, really. We are in between sessions. It's in between different sessions of the Indigo delegation. I perceive myself, and it's like I'm waiting to enter a different room, a different space, to receive more information. And Renala's here.
Is it with you?
Yes, she's with me. She's guiding me through this place. I'm so happy she's here. There's so many beings here, and she's helping me to orientate.
Just to set the scene, could you describe me? Just look around you and describe me. How is this place that you are now?
Right now, it's like a hallway from one space, one room to another. Before it was like an area where people were waiting, as if we all had left a large meeting room and were then still standing outside, chatting, and some chatting, some not.
So you said that you are heading towards another meeting, another room?
Yes, to another room. Yes, to get information, more specific. It seems it's like this whole event is about passing on as much information to us, to the delegates.
Wonderful.
As possible. And it's really nice to see all the different delegates. Wow, they come from all over. It's beautiful.
Different kinds of beings, you mean?
Yes. It's very inspiring.
Could you briefly describe some that capture your attention?
I spoke to some fellow beings which I know from my home, from the Antarian star system, and they are different species, and we do not mingle very much. But this is a very nice occasion to connect to them.
Did you just say your home?
Yes.
So Antares, you said Antares?
Yes.
Okay, so this is your home?
Yes. Speaking from the being that I'm representing was my body. Yes, it is my home. And we came here, or I specifically came to Venus to connect to my friend here, guiding me. And yes.
Has this information come through in previous sessions? Because I'm quite surprised, as if this is the first time I hear this.
I think it is probably the first time. Yes, I described last time that I was on Venus and that Renala was guiding me, and I described how it looked like, but I don't think I mentioned where I came from.
Yeah.
But our species is not restricted to Antarctica, but that makes things complicated, I guess. So
okay, that's quite amazing. So this connects some more dots, I would say. That's for sure. So the body that you are carrying now, the one that is present now in this Indigo delegation, is it a physical body or energetic?
We are participating in this meeting on a specific frequency, and I think really everyone participating is participating energetically to a certain level of density. So we do have shape, do have form, and I have the ability to manifest a physical body, and I do. But this place where we are is not quite as solid as you would perceive your world, but it is nevertheless materialized.
I understand. Just to get things straight, because we have been communicating with many beings, and I just want to make things straight in my head. Could you tell us your name again?
My name is Muna. Can spell it later.
Okay. And how are you connected to Muna? In what way are you related?
I'm one focus point of her.
An aspect of her, you mean?
No. It depends on the perspective we choose. And let's choose the setting of oneness. You could say I'm her in the past, in the eternal now. She's one aspect of me, I'm one aspect of her. I saw myself in the future as being her, but I'm saying this because I'm adapting it to the human perspective, which is still valid on the planet.
Yes, and thank you for these clarifications. And I apologize for making very linear human questions.
No, don't apologize. Please don't. It's so beautiful, the work that you do, and so important. And remember, you're basically the Muna that you're talking to, and we are the same. And I'm excited to have this opportunity to connect already now while being prepared. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. I love it. So your questions are very valid and well placed.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. Okay, so is Ranara, like you said, escorting you now in another room, or what is happening now?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She is. We are good friends. It's so wonderful to be with her. So yes, I'm walking side by side with her, one arm tucked under, and she is explaining to me that we are now going to a specialized preparation. I don't know what it is. I will just follow her and see.
So let's see. I'm very excited.
I'm entering this space.
Would you like to describe it for us?
Yes, it reminds me of if you go to an observatory on Earth. I'm drawing this from Muna's memory. A star observatory where they turn the cupola into only seeing stars, where the stars are projected to the ceiling. It's like this. It's dark.
Oh, like a planetarium.
Yes, like a planetarium.
I love these places.
It's like this. It's quiet. I can perceive that there are quite a number of others, and I am lying down. There are seats, kind of very comfortable reclining chairs, and we are connecting. The seats have some kind of mechanism where you place your hands and it's connecting you more deeply to the environment by connecting to your chakras, so you can absorb the energy and the information.
Do these chairs have? Yes.
The transmissions are starting.
Okay.
This is very interesting, exciting. And what we are being shown is our interconnectedness, all the beings in the room. It's like we are receiving a download of information of our past and future connections, like a family tree, but just so much more. A very complex one. And the download, it has information on so many different levels. I understand that the beings in this room, I understand on an emotional level, on a level in terms of incarnation, experience, star system, all these different layers of information. I know who they are, who I am, and what we will be doing in the future. It is. It's for a human mind, you cannot wrap. You hardly ever have an experience like this, of such an expansion of awareness. And in my day-to-day life, I also do not have that. But it is not unknown to me. I know that we can do this. You have to be in a certain stage of. You have to have a certain level of vibration as your constant base to be able to take in this information. It is relevant for our task, and it is designed to it is designed this session to help us connect deeply to the other delegates. Because we will be reactivating these connections.
What do you mean?
Our mission is to come to Earth, the planet that you call Earth, the beautiful blue planet. And we will be supporting each other. Many times energetically, many times indirectly, sometimes directly. We will be recognizing each other. And the download that we are receiving now is one information package. It's like something that will be stored in our system to be unpacked in the right moment, so to say, if you would. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So this information was the organizer of this session is Ashta. We have such a strong connection time. There's complete trust in this room. And such a strong feeling of kinship.
I wonder who or what is transmitting this information and downloading it to you, to all of you.
I can only say that the room is designed for this type of transmission. Just like the planetarium would be designed for, the planetariums on Earth are designed to transmit certain information. It's a technology that's being used. This is really all I can say. We would need to ask a specialist about more, if you would want to, if you needed more information.
Okay, it's not one being.
No. Well, Asta can give this information.
Okay, so yeah, if it's appropriate and relevant, I would like to hear about this process.
Hello. Hello, beautiful sisters.
Hello, Asta.
So you made your way right into the Starseed delegations. Congratulations, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure and honor to be there. Thank you for guiding us through.
You're welcome. You're very welcome here. You were asking about the information that's being transmitted.
Yeah, I was wondering how that works.
On the level that the beings are receiving it, it's a semi-physical environment where there are chairs which are designed to help receive this information, and I'm feeding them this information. This information is stored on another level of my being, and the technology in the room is tapping into this level of my being and transmitting this information.
And how do they tap into this level of your being?
It's something that's not even closely discovered on Earth. It's a spiritual technology, you could say. It will only ever be discovered once people understand what consciousness means, and there's still a little bit more time in the future.
Mm-hmm. But if we can put a word that humans can understand, is it like telepathic transmission?
Yeah. Yes, you could say that. Yeah.
To simplify it.
It's like an energetic transmission which holds a lot of information. It's a little bit like a zip file. So you download a lot in a small volume, and then it unpacks in your system as if you download a program. And this then is installed in the other being as information that's being downloaded. That's really the best information for it. And it's unfolding in the person. And the person then has access to all these levels of information within them. So it is true that there's this projected screen around them, but the much more important screen is the one on the inside, because they feel the connection. They know their connections to the other beings, which is so crucial, because we designed the waves very carefully. We spend a lot of time figuring out the different qualities, the different character traits needed at different times on the earth to really help it make that necessary leap in frequency. So we are working on preparing the beautiful delegates, the volunteers, to the best of our ability, so that they can make full use of their own potential, but also never forget their fellows, because this whole the idea of the waves is that they help each other, and they do. They amplify each other's signal.
And even activate it at sometimes, right?
Yes, they activate each other. If one is still dormant, and then you come in contact with another activated starseed, and it works beautifully. It works.
I get goosebumps.
Sometimes you just need to be in the same room. Sometimes you just need to hear the voice of someone. Sometimes just see a picture of someone. Read an article written in the right vibration. It works on many different levels, and it works great. We are quite happy to see the unfolding. It's beautiful. And of course we enjoy seeing that the design works. We have to admit that it's really a great pleasure to watch it unfold.
I just got a picture in my mind that I don't know if it's the way you say it. Maybe it's more metaphoric, that every time a volunteer or an indigo starseed is activated, is like a little light is being turned on the map of Earth.
Yes, it is. And you could also, if you would want to use another image, it's they start to. It's amazing, because the moment they land on Earth, they start to emit their signal. But the more they develop, they change what they emit. And this is something that Dolores was talking about in the last session, that the seeds, the star seeds, go through different stages, and every stage has a certain purpose. So many of the indigos were in the past. They had a certain task, and many of them worked multidimensionally, many of them unconscious. They knew they were doing energy work. They helped people. They transmuted enormous amounts of energy. They were helping to create structures, devices, to really bring everything in place for the great energetic changes that are currently taking place. So many were seemingly living a normal human life, but they were extremely busy, light working, as you would call it. They were really extremely busy. Now they are moving into a different stage, and because simply their projects are concluded. So, for example, some of them were born into families which very, very dense karma, family karma, ancestral karma, as you would call it. And they were working their way through to the very core of this trauma and healing it on many different levels. They were healing it within themselves, sometimes within their family, which is still alive, but they were doing so much work in the non-physical dimensions. And this was absolutely crucial for the ascension of Earth, because the Earth cannot ascend with having these denser dimensions packed with traumatized souls who cannot move on. So many of the indigos took it upon them to transmute not only their own pain and inherited karma and trauma, but to work in the non-physical dimensions to transmute the energy and to help those consciousnesses to move on, to heal, basically. So many of them have a very natural affinity and ability to heal. Basically their presence is healing, and they felt a strong call also to this type of a profession, but many times did not work in it. But they did every night. They did non-stop almost to help those consciousnesses which were stuck, those souls who were stuck and frozen in time, frozen in their trauma, to move on, or to set in place these devices that you have also been talking about, which then help to remove an entire dimensional fragment. You have been talking about this before.
Mm-hmm.
It fits very well, because this was an absolute integral part of the work of many of the indigos. They really did a great job. So this is now almost completed. Things are in place, the devices are in place. Most of their work is done. There are other delegations working with what is still remaining, but the people we're talking to right now, the Indigo delegation, they are now moving into they're moving on to different tasks, and they feel it. They feel the freedom. They feel so much better. They feel so much better because that burden has been lifted off of them.
What percent of them is in this new state right now?
I would say that 30 to 35% are in this stage, and more are joining. There are always some who are, who are a little bit faster than the others. That's just part of how this moves. There's always the tip of the wave, and then the rest that follows. But it's just a question of time. It won't be too long, I'm assuming.
So these are the frontliners, right? Sorry.
Yes, that's absolutely right. So the first are already packing up and motivating the others to do the same.
And these don't necessarily belong to first, second, or third wave of how Dolores was organizing them. They could be from any wave, the ones who have reached this new state.
Well, here we really specifically speak about the indigo wave, but I'm sure others can. Well, let's really focus on this wave. But Dolores mentioned that many indigos are also second wavers. The first part of their task fit very well to the description of just being, because that was enough. They had this energy pattern to just influence by being wherever they were, and they were carrying this to any dimension that they traveled to or that they focused on. That would even be enough. They're extremely strong, and they're extremely empathetic, those indigos.
The second wave, you mean?
Yes, the second wavers, but also the indigos. And one important characteristics of the delegation that we are talking from at the moment is that they are highly empathetic. And I'm not talking about an average strong empath. I'm talking about something that's way beyond that level. Hypersensitive would not even match it. They are calibrated to perceive trauma, to perceive dissonances. They are basically tuned. In the first part of their life, they were tuned to dive very deep into the depths of the pain, the trauma, the conflict, and to unravel it, to understand it, to see it, and to dissolve it. That's why they spend so much time on the inside, perceiving, soaking up information, working with it, transmuting it, releasing it. It was a tough task. It was really a tough task.
Before we continue on this very interesting subject that we are talking about, I just want to make a parenthesis, and I would like to ask you if you could clarify what is your description of indigos, and how are they related? What's the connection or difference from the 3 waves that Dolores was talking about?
The waves that Dolores identified encompass more. You could say it's one classification system for starseed volunteers, and talking about indigos or crystal children or people is another way of classifying it. Dolores did it focusing on times when they were born and certain characteristics which they had in common. So you could say that the 3 waves are a more general classification than talking about the indigos, because also the second wave is not only composed of indigos but also of other subgroups, which some have been identified, some have not yet been identified. So you could say that the description of indigo is more specific. It describes a smaller group or a different group, and more based on their character traits, on their abilities, on their profile, more specifically.
Would you like to identify that regarding the indigos specifically?
Yes.
Thank you.
I think the description I gave in the beginning before about the first task that they chose, the main character, or one of the strongest character traits, is, and by design and by necessity, was this incredibly high level of sensitivity, of empathy, in order to fulfill the tasks that I described, to understand deeply beyond the imagination of most people on Earth, the intricate dynamic of a traumatized generation, of a traumatized bloodline, through all the different layers of dimensions. They could do this. The indigos came here to do this in the first part of their life. And I know that many of them have memories They remember waking up in the morning and remembering that they had been somewhere negotiating as it seemed in different dimensions. Many of them were negotiating in parallel dimensions of Earth to release or to get populations released from the very dense dimensions of Earth. Dimensions which were remnants, for example, of wars. To give one example. And this task was so important. It was absolutely necessary to cleanse and to release the trapped consciousness from these dimensions for light energies to start taking root on the planet. It was, without it, this would not have happened. So they did an amazing job, and they are so happy that it's over. It was a tough task.
Yeah.
No doubt about this. It was a very, very challenging task. They took you can only enter these dimensions and work with them if you connect to them. So you do feel all of it. You do feel the horror and the pain, and at the same time you bring your light and you help to transmute it. And I want to add this very profile that they have and that they train so much. They're so good at this. They are, that's their strong trait. One of their strong traits. This will now be used for something completely else. And we are so happy we designed it this way, because it will balance the first half of their year, of their life. Or let's say the first half of their mega project that they did, which is now completed. So they trained their abilities to sense and feel deeply, and they were focused mainly on the problems, on the things that needed to be transmuted, that needed to be released. Now they are learning to shift their focus to the beautiful frequencies. They are the awakening creators. They are now embracing, starting to understand how they create from within. It starts to slowly enter their awareness that they are strong, fast manifestors. And they're learning how to do this, and their sensitivity is going to help them very much to navigate through this phase, because they are entering an yet unimaginable life. It's something that is so different that it cannot yet be expressed to you in a transmission, but many of you are starting to, they will make sense of the words that I'm speaking, because it is already part of their experience, that they move into this pure creation mode, and they do not even feel like being part of this earth anymore, or it feels like a dream, which it is, but it is starting to be their reality, to see that. And then they shift back, and their sensitivity is going to help them to always want to come back to these moments of pure flow and creation, where they are connected purely to their essence, because it feels so much better. So what they really need to learn now is to allow themselves to focus on their well-being. They have their entire life, they have been focusing on the well-being of someone else, of others, of the collective. Now they are starting to learn that if they focus on their well-being, it has a huge impact.
Like a mirror effect.
Yes. And this is a new task to unfold in this and to master this, which no doubt they will do. This is what they enter now, and it's so beautiful to watch it. And they're so happy that they are starting off into this new phase. It's quite a contrast.
It's really incredible. It's like you're speaking my mind. So I totally resonate with the information that you're bringing through.
I know that. You know these moments. Muna knows these moments. Many of the people who will be listening to this know these moments. That's why we are transmitting this as an encouragement, because we also know your doubts, and we know that shifting back is, well, it is the way it is, and to help you focus on this, to encourage you to embrace this beautiful energy, to allow yourself to embrace this beautiful energy, and to use your amazing abilities to sense so deeply, to focus on this. So what you've been doing in the past, sensing so deeply into the dense energies in order to help transmute them, release them, now use this ability to connect as deeply as you can into the beautiful being states. If you enjoy something, enjoy it as deeply as you can. Understand what it means for your body, for your system to enjoy. Just like you know all the facets of pain, you do. You specialized in it as indigos.
Oh, yeah.
I know. And now you are learning to get to know all the different facets of beauty, of joy, of love, of of ecstasy, whichever beautiful being state you want to explore first. So use this sensitivity and to sense and explore these being states. That's your task now.
Sounds like fun. Finally. Yeah, I think many will resonate with these messages, and it sounds like we were trained really hard in the past, but yeah, I'm feeling a lot of release already since the beginning of the year, and slowly even the 1 year before, maybe. Just I felt like there's a kind of a shift in the energy.
Yes, it is. And
it's more effortless. That's how I could describe it, as more effortless.
Exactly. Yes, that's how it is. It is much easier now. And this is because the tasks that I have been talking about, they are completed. They fall away. So you're released of this former duty, and And now there's a transition. It is a little bit like we know that this task was super demanding, and for some of you, it's like coming from a battlefield, really.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you still carry this, the memory of the pain, and it will get easier and easier over time to allow yourself to stay in the very elevated being states for longer time. At the moment, it's a shifting back and forth, simply because you cannot shake it off that fast. The task you've all been doing, you can just not shake it off like this. But you're learning to enter this new state, and you will learn that forgetting things is a large part of the process. That's at hand.
Is that one of the reasons why we are losing our memory more and more?
That's one of the reasons.
Oh, wow. Okay. Makes sense.
Yes. So you can rewrite your connections.
I wanted to make a little parenthesis on something you said before, but I didn't want to interrupt you. When you mentioned that many indigos in the past might had what they thought they were dreams of negotiating, and it reminded me of a very, very strong dream I had, negotiating with Angela Merkel, and I get goosebumps. I wonder if you have any access to this incident, any information or any comment?
No, I don't.
Okay, that's fine.
This cannot be commented on at the moment.
That's okay. Wonderful. Should we continue? Are there more things for today you would like to bring through? Would you like to check with Muna how she feels?
She's fine. Muna's fine. I appreciate that the two of you are receiving this information, and you pass it on to your brothers and sisters. And we have more information which is relevant for the indigos entering their new state of development. I'm checking in with Dolores if she wants to add something.
I was also thinking of Dolores right now.
I think Ashta, he described it beautifully, the new stage and the characteristics of the indigos. So I don't think that anything to add. there will be information released to help you to spread your creator wings, you could say. That's all I will say for the moment, but we will connect soon again. So thank you.
Thank you. We are looking forward.
So
thank you, Dolores. And thank you, Asta.
You're welcome, sister.